The way that we use bow patterns in our practice is twofold. First of all, it's a way to get some pretty significant chops in terms of bow technique well before you're going to use that technique in your repertoire. Second of all, we use them on scales, and so this is a way to take a scale that you maybe have just learned, you're starting to be pretty good at that scale and it's starting to get easy and maybe you're starting to get a little bored, but you haven't necessarily fully mastered it yet. That bow pattern is going to give you just enough extra challenge that it makes that scale interesting again. Also distracts you slightly from that new scale. Maybe you start to make some mistakes that you wouldn't have made if you were just doing the scale by itself. So it's really taking a scale that's starting to reach a level of mastery, putting it under some stress, sort of stress testing it, and that's going to raise your mastery of that scale, force your brain to sort of automate that new skill. And it also just makes it more fun. How you'll use the bow patterns in your practicing is you're going to take whatever scales you have learned, including your most recent one, but probably you want to review all of your scales every day. And with each of those scales, you're going to choose a bowing pattern that you find interesting or that maybe you need to review a little bit just to keep it fresh. So say D and A major, that would be one hand pattern. So you would do either D or A major probably, you don't have to do both. Pick a pattern that you like to do on that scale. E and B major would be another pattern that both of those scales start on first finger. Pick a different bowing pattern to do with E or B major. You'll do your third position scale, you'll do your G major scale, first position G major starting on third finger if you've learned that one. Any other scales that you've learned, maybe a 2-octave scale, like a C major scale, or a low A scale, or a low G scale, any scales that you have now learned, you'll go ahead and review those, but you'll make them more interesting by using a bowing pattern. So you're practicing two things at the same time. Number one, you're practicing the scale itself. Number two, you're really refining your control of the bow, your awareness of the bow, you're raising your level of technique a little higher each day on whatever that particular bowing technique or skill is.